So let me ask you a question now. You said that you moved from Pune to Ahmedabad. What was that one thing that made you take that step in the first? Passion is for losers. Today, when we are executing orders worth multiple of crores of rupees, we don't get anyone in the market saying that, okay, I can't really take that big a risk on you.
Firstly, why did you decide to, respond to my email? What's the intention?
Well, firstly, I think when I got your email and when I saw your profile and I also checked out a couple of videos that you have already done, I was quite impressed with what you are doing, where you are, and it's a good initiative. So I thought, yeah, it's something that I would appreciate, that if we can give a few tips or a few thoughts for all the youngsters out there, it would be good.
Yeah, and this I haven't asked anybody, but तुम जब मुझे ऐसे podcast के लिए हाँ बोलते हो आप, why do you feel it's a worth of your time rather than just working on your business or whatever?
Well, we have been working on the business for a long time, and today I think the way things are in this global economy, I think it's always more about collaboration, it's about sharing, it's about giving away your knowledge. You don't have that insecurity now that, oh, this is my business secret or this is my trade secret, so if I give it away, somebody else will make a better business or more money out of it. So I think we are beyond that stage of looking at things from that perspective, and so whatever we can share from our experience, I think we should. That's where the way things have become in the last 10-15 years, the way people are working after COVID, in terms of, they have realized their life priorities, they have realized that what they have been doing for many years, that needs to be looked at from a different perspective. And I was just with a very dear friend, and he asked me a question. He said, how many lives do we have? I said, one. So he said, no, two. I said, what do you mean? He said, the one life is the life that we live till the day we realize that we only have one life, and that's the start of your second life.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I told him the same thing. That's a good one.
And can you talk about that idea stealing part? Why is that a real threat? Should people be worried about just giving out their ideas to the world?
Well, I think, from where we are coming, the way business was maybe 15 years, 20 years back, holding on to your business methodologies or trade secrets was something which was very much there. There was always this, and especially when you are coming from a completely non-privileged background, that sense of insecurity is there, that if I know something, if I know to do something in a better way than others, that's my trade secret. That's what I would want to make sure that it doesn't get communicated outside. So it is something which is there. Of course, you always have businesses which are very much secretive. So their entire business model is secretive. But then today, if you see, there's not just one Uber, or there is not just one Zomato, right? Behind every such model, there is a second or a third or a fourth company which has come and started doing what the first one was doing, and they have learned and they have adopted and they have adapted, and maybe they have improved on certain things, and so businesses can survive. And I think, they always say in business that competition is good, because competition is what keeps you running.
Right. Because I always think about things from the perspective that people only care about themselves. People will only do something if it's going to benefit them. So even Elon Musk, guys like Elon Musk, they're making their technologies, open source, whatever the innovations, battery technology, anything, stuff like that. So इसमें वही मुझे पूछना है कि उसमें benefit क्या होता है of sharing your trade secrets?
See, I think today the thought process is so open that, let's say if I share what my story is, what my journey is, I say that, okay, this is where we are headed, or this is what we are wanting to do. And if it inspires somebody, and that somebody comes to me and says, hey, I want to join your organization, or I want to be a part of your story, or be a part of your growth, or be a part of your vision, it's always a good thing, right? I mean, like we see today that, and at one time earlier, what used to happen is that there would be one Seth in the company, and that Seth is the one who's running the entire organization. And it goes on for a good 10-20 years, and then their successor comes from the family and takes over and then continues, right? But today we see a lot of businesses being run by multiple co-founders. I mean, like there's one founder, and then he has found co-founders at different point or at different junctures of the business. He's found somebody who is good at what they do, and that is what the business needs, so they take them on board. And it's also, I think, the overall startup ecosystem has shown or taught everyone that whether or not you have equity, I mean, like earlier what used to happen is, oh, this company is owned by me. I have majority stake. I have, 90% equity. Today, most of the startup founders have shown that, even with 5% equity, you could actually be worth $1 billion. And it's because of your ability to inspire people to invest money in your business, and that vision being shared by multiple people within your organization, it works out better. So I think the way things are, we all need to look at business or doing business in a different way. So if I am able to kind of as I said, inspire somebody and who wants to be a part of our vision, our growth, that's the idea.
What is your business? What is iValue?
So iValue is a very traditional business model, which is we buy and we sell. Okay. So there's no innovation that we are doing, but the name for us, which is iValue, okay, so which is where I am adding value to whatever I am doing as part of my business. So we are not just a trader, we are more of a system integrator. We focus on IT system integration. We offer enterprise solutions across the horizontal layers of technology, working with multiple OEMs and working across cross-platform technologies. So we are into three main domains. One is IT infrastructure, one is cloud, and the third is security. So in infrastructure, we build IT infrastructures for larger organizations, be it in corporate, in government, in education, in manufacturing space. And when I say IT infrastructure, what is just giving you a very simple example, when you, let's say you go to a hotel. So in a hotel, right from the reception to your room to all the guest areas or the facilities, you have IT equipment, you have Wi-Fi, you have surveillance, you have access control. All of that in a very simple term is called IT infrastructure, because everything is controlled by anything to do with IT, something to do with IT. And on cloud, we work with multiple cloud providers like AWS and Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform, and we offer our services on these platforms. And in security, we are majorly focused on cybersecurity as well as device security. So those are two areas in security that we are focused on.
So what kind of clients come to you in general? You mentioned hotels, for example.
Yeah.
But in general, like what kind of companies are looking for your services?
For us, it's horizontal. So we are not verticalized on any one particular market, that we only work on BFSI or we only work in EdTech, for example. So for us, clientele is very horizontal. We work across different client segments, right from, as I said, government, enterprise. Enterprise could be your large enterprise customers, like the big names that we know of. And then MSME or medium and small and size businesses. For us, even an architect, for example, who's just an indie architect, he's just starting off, or an interior designer or a developer, is a good client, because when we start off with some client in their journey in their early days, and when they grow and we help them with their IT as far as their growth is concerned, that's where a longer term bond forms. And so we are able to be a part of their growth and support their growth. So for us, we don't really we're not a retail company. So we don't have anything to do with retail. We are majorly a B2B organization. So we work with B2B clients of all shapes and sizes.
So Gujarat, I want to talk about IT industry in Gujarat right now. So you've been in Gujarat since the start, right? It's not well known for IT, you could say. The big names are Bangalore, Pune, or Delhi NCRs maybe.
Yeah.
How did you establish yourself here, and is there a wave of IT coming here because of Gift City and all of that? What do you think?
So the first thing is that IT cannot be just labeled as people understand that okay, IT, that is information technology, is just one thing. It is not one, because in IT there are a plethora of business models which are there, right? So as I said, we are into system integration, so we are majorly towards hardware, networking, cloud, security, right? And then the most common understanding when we say IT, people say, "Acha, you make software? Acha, you develop apps?" So the developer ecosystem or the app ecosystem, or you can say the outsourcing, when you talk about Pune or Hyderabad or Bangalore, the way the IT wave caught those cities was from outsourcing. It was basically all of these large global players, and then the Indian players who became global, setting up large development centers, global capacity centers, and having a workforce which was doing work for maybe an American client or a European client or an Australian client for that matter. So that is of course one part of the IT industry, and which Gujarat at one time was lagging, yes, but today if you see, because of the overall entrepreneurial atmosphere in Gujarat, the overall support of the government ecosystem, the policies, and the workforce that Gujarat has been able to create, I think we are really one of the fastest emerging states or ecosystems as far as IT industry is concerned. And when you say Gift City, right? So people understand Gift as being majorly to do something to do with IT probably, but Gift obviously started first as a finance city, right? It was supposed to be a financial technology center on the lines of what Singapore or Hong Kong is. Over the last few years, Gift has really got a big boost in terms of the multiple segments that have opened up in terms of business. So now you have international finance trading, you have KPOs and BPOs coming up there, you have international universities coming up there, aircraft leasing businesses, ship leasing businesses, all of them can be registered in Gift. So Gift of course has two distinct areas. One is the SEZ and the domestic. So if you are in domestic businesses, you could be in the domestic area, which is where all our banking segments are set up. So like SBI is coming up with a huge tower, LIC has got one. And then you have the SEZ, which is only to do with international trade or international finance exchange. So Gift of course is the future of Gujarat. In the next 10 years, we will see Gift shaping up to be a major thing for Gujarat, especially on the lines of what we admire when we go to places like Dubai or Singapore. And along with that, I think if you look at the overall the IT ecosystem in Gujarat over the last 10 years, I would say it has mushroomed in a very big way. So like we have companies from Gujarat who have now started coming out with IPOs, being in the app development or the software development space. And there are large organizations who have set up like 1500 seater, 2000 seater development centers in cities like Ahmedabad and Baroda and Surat. So I think because of the way we have the availability of space, we have fantastic infrastructure in most of these cities, and the support from the government and the entrepreneurial mindset of Gujaratis. I think Gujarat is very well on I would say song as far as becoming a very big IT hub in the next few years to come.
But I agree with all of that. And I agree that Gujarat is going forward in terms of businesses growing and GDP rate and all of those things. But a few weeks pehle, Ashneer Grover had come to Ahmedabad, so I had gone there. So he was talking ki in terms of startups and innovation, Gujarat hasn't done anything yet compared to Bangalore में startups होते हैं, Delhi में होते हैं. Those are two big names, maybe Mumbai, and then it's scattered around India. In Gujarat, what I see is ki there is lots of business acumen, there is lots of great proper mindset to run a business, proper work ethic, all of those things. But in terms of innovation, I'm just not aware of anything. Do you know? Can you speak on that a bit?
Well, I think a lot of innovation is happening in Gujarat now. So there are quite a few of our clients whom we know who have created very innovative products. They have created services. They have SaaS offerings in the market, which are creating their own niche or defining a particular segment. And of course, a lot of intellectual property is being created in Gujarat. Now, when you look at it from the perspective of a Bangalore or a Gurgaon or Hyderabad, you also have to bring in the understanding that these were the centers which attracted a lot of foreign companies or large technology companies to come and set up their development centers, engineering centers, design centers over the last 25 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like if you read this book from by Thomas Friedman, The World is Flat. When he wrote that book, then this is about close to about 20 years back. His opening chapter starts with a representation of where he's playing golf and he's overlooking the Microsoft and the IBM development centers, and he was talking about being in Bangalore. Okay, so he was not talking about that I'm in San Francisco and I can see the IBM or the Microsoft development centers. He was in Bangalore. That's how the book starts, and that's how he 20 years back he said the world is flat. I mean, like, so technology will basically flatten the entire space of doing business, and what somebody could do in San Francisco can also be done by people in Bangalore or in Gurgaon. So that early start that these cities got by way of one, the support from the government, the talent which was available at that point of time. So obviously Gujaratis have migrated out of India, but they have also done business. So if you go to US, you will find a lot of Gujaratis have done business. If you go to Canada, a lot of Gujaratis are into business. But if you look at the migrants from the southern states, they are majorly working as engineers and designers and software developers in larger organizations, and then they have also eventually gone on to create organizations which have made products and everything. So the way our ecosystem has developed in Gujarat, no doubt it has been a little behind the curve, if you were to excuse my saying that, but the fact is that we are now there. We are recognized as another state which produces talent which has gone on to create a lot of innovations. Like if you look at the startup index, you will find that Ahmedabad is now featuring in the top 10. Eventually, we are also looking at a lot of support from the academia, from the government, which is, you have CIIE and you have KCG and you have a lot of these incubation centers which have come up in the last few years. Universities have incubation centers, and a lot of research is actually happening now. Development is happening now. Products are coming out of those labs and research centers. So we will be there, and you know very well that when it's all about Gujarat, eventually when it comes to creating a business model, we'll probably do it a little bit better than the others who have done it before us.
Yeah, what would you say to the rest of the India, which says ki the government is overly biased towards Gujarat and all of those things? You get comments like that. So what do you is the
Well, I
government
think
right?
everyone is
the
now
government-
referring
yeah.
it to Bharat, so let's stick to Bharat. But I think you can say that about every decade, for example, or you can say a period of 5 years, that one time probably you can say that there was a lot of favor for such initiatives to have taken place in other states as well. But at the same time, our state created businesses that were not into IT, but they have created very large businesses. I mean, like, so Gujarat is the hub of pharmaceutical, of chemical, dyes, intermediates. A lot of engineering manufacturing has been happening in Gujarat for many, many years. And then you have large enterprises which have been created in terms of your Adanis and Zydus and Torrent and Intas and all of those. So businesses happen. It's not that, I mean, like, so Gujarat is still called as, outside of Mumbai, it's the largest financial state, right? In terms of favoritism, which was your question, or people questioning that why everyone is always talking about Gujarat nowadays. Well, I wouldn't want to call it favoritism, but I think it's just the love of the ruling party, let's say, for the state, and it's not just Gujarat. We are seeing development across the country, right? Just look at the highway development projects. So just look at the infrastructure development which has happened in the last 10 years in terms of so many cities across the country having metro projects ongoing, right? So it's not just as if only Ahmedabad got the metro and then no other city got the metro. So the larger airports of Delhi and Bangalore and Mumbai, and we are going to get there in a few years from now. So I think we as citizens can look at things from different perspective, but we have to agree that there are probably better heads sitting in the government who can look at things from a different perspective.
Yeah, the reason why I'm spending so much time on Gujarat is I want to convince people, the talented individuals that are watching this, to move here. I see that's the reason I moved here. I just came here, I just looked around this ST highway, done. Just after looking at that, done. Because in Pune, the infrastructure is terrible. And of course, business community, you'll find a better one here. You'll connect with, it's more livelihood. It's a live city. It's not Mumbai crazy, but it's not Pune ekdam shant, 9 baje sab band ho gaya. So that's the balance that I quite liked a lot. So I see there's a good future for this city and state.
I think the future is good for the entire country, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's what if you just look at what every large economy is looking towards us now, is that they see a lot of opportunity here, and opportunity not just in the sense that we are probably the youngest population in the country, but there is an ambition in people to grow. There is a desire to progress ahead. There is also the talent, and there is equivalent support from the government. Policies and the changes that have happened in the business space over the last few years. I happen to meet a cross section of people, and everyone is bullish about their segment. Everyone is saying the next 7-10 years are our golden period, and it's just going to be a growth story for every segment, every business which is well poised to take advantage of this. So overall, I think we have to also start looking at things from a broader perspective, saying whether it's Ahmedabad versus Pune, or is it Pune versus Bangalore, or is it now where we are competing against a
The
China, or we are competing against a Europe, or we are competing against larger economies, you can say. That's the perspective, I think, at least, so let me ask you a question now. You said that you moved from Pune to Ahmedabad. So what was that one thing that made you take that step in the first place?
I'm far away from parents. No, that's one reason, but main reason actually, like मैंने actually इधर potential देखा. Like I had lived in Mumbai actually also just like this. I had moved to Mumbai for 3 months. I was living there, just trying different businesses and all. 3 months I was living there. That kind of environment where everybody is just hustling. I saw that in Mumbai, but it was just too much. Like every day you're seeing these like multi-billion-dollar buildings. I'm like, I got a bit overwhelmed. I'm like, ये कभी करूँगा मैं. And it's just too much competition in Mumbai. It's पूरे world का पूरा talent is there. It's like super hard to do it over there. So I felt कि if I come to a place which is growing much faster than rest of compared to other cities in India, I would have an advantage. Plus, I feel despite there being established businesses like Torrent, Zydus and all those, and other big businesses, the competition is not that high. As you said, talent has been shifting out of Gujarat. Talent is going out of India and to places like Bangalore or Pune or other hot job markets. So that way, I felt कि Ahmedabad was quite a good balance of stuff. They were talking about in 2036 they're gonna do the Olympics here. So if that happens, I'll be set.
So you said it rightly. See, the thing is that post-COVID, if you see, a lot of things changed. Okay, so earlier the large software houses did not perhaps look at talent coming from Gujarat in the right perspective, or I would say that whether if there was a choice between picking up an engineer from Pune versus Ahmedabad, they would pick an engineer from Pune. But see, what happened after COVID is that there was a huge demand for talent, and then the talent was completely decentralized. You did not actually have to think, if I have to work for a large IT company like a TCS or a Wipro or HCL, I have to be at their city or at their center. You could be sitting wherever and you were supposed to just do your work. So the work from home or the work from anywhere culture came in. And because of that, the talent in Gujarat also got a lot of opportunity. They got recognized for the work that they were able to do, or they were able to perform. And so the overall ecosystem suddenly got a boost in Gujarat. And in the last 3-4 years, I can tell you, I have seen so many of these companies coming up. They have started off 3 years back, 4 years back, and then they are now at a decent size of 250, 300 developers, and they are growing very, very fast. So that shift has happened, and that shift will eventually come to a point wherein you are able to, coming from a more, you would say, a more vibrant city from Pune, wanting to shift to Ahmedabad. Because my perspective is that the generation that you guys are in, you also broke that ceiling of growing up in the city and then settling down in the city. For you, the opportunity presented itself that if you are able to move, if you are able to be mobile, if you are able to take that leap of faith and go to in an unknown city where you don't have any chachas and mamas and support ecosystem, but you do something on your own. I mean, like, you create your own ecosystem, you create your own network. That itself is something that is we are seeing it happening all across, and that brings a lot of change in the overall society. It makes people understand the fact that there is an opportunity everywhere. Like today, you are saying that okay, Mumbai is, there are people are living a life which is tougher than other cities, starting off early in the morning, coming up late at night, and all. But Mumbai is Mumbai. It still presents an opportunity which is attractive to everyone who wants to be in the finance or in the film industry for that matter. And similarly for somebody who wants to be in tech, they want to go to Bangalore, right? So that every city has its own unique advantage. It presents an opportunity which could be fantastic for anybody who is able to see that opportunity in that manner.
Yeah. You talked about building a network. You've obviously, you have around 300 plus clients that you're working with in this company.
Now we have more clients, in fact, so we concurrently, I think we are working with close to about 900 odd clients.
Okay.
And we have clients across the country. In fact, we are working with a lot of clients in Bangalore, we're working with clients in Gurgaon, we have client in Chennai, in Pune. So we are of course headquartered here, but yeah, we work with clients who are expanding out of Gujarat, and then we are working with clients who are there in other cities as well.
So the question would be, how did you build such a, how did you get so many clients? And it's obviously networking and all of that, relationship building and all of those things. How long did it take to get to this point? What was the road like? And yeah, just talk on that.
It has taken a pretty long time, and it has not been at the pace probably where it could have been or should have been. And so we have taken our own sweet time, you can say, to come to a position where we can say that okay, now we are stable, we are organized, we are growth oriented, we are expanding and stuff like that. The opportunity now is actually much bigger. So if I were to look at what we were doing 10 years back versus if I were to look at what we can do in the next 3 years, I think that's the kind of time scale we are looking at. What we did in the last 10 years, we can do it in the next 3 years. So the potential from the time scale perspective is immense. The journey, of course, has not been without its own ups and downs, and plus the fact that we are still bootstrapped, and that's the term which is used, right? Everyone wants to say that okay, we are bootstrapped, but we are not very. We are also not very debt heavy. So we've because of the middle class mindset, you can say, of growing up, not coming into business with any privilege or any large backing, the growth has been a little risk averse, or you can say playing it. जब हम बड़े हो रहे थे ना, तो हमको यही सिखाया जाता था कि पैर उतने फैलाओ जितनी चादर है. That's the thought process which we have grown up with. Now when I look at it from the next 5-year perspective, I see, and there are examples, right, which have happened in the industry, and so we are a little bit more aggressive, we tend to take more risks, and at the same time we see an opportunity where I'm not just growing myself, I'm growing my team, I'm growing 120 or 130 people who are part of the overall ecosystem that we represent as an organization, right? So that's the thought process of going ahead. In terms of learning, I think again, I am a migrant to this city just like you are. I haven't grown up here, I haven't studied here. So when I came into this city, I had almost no network. And the first decade, you would say, just went on one getting established, setting your own stuff, and then, working your way around the menial stuff of doing business. That's when I started actually getting into networks. And over the last, I would say, 8-10 years, I have been able to create a network of people that I know, friends who have come as part of that network. That has helped me to have my own ecosystem in this city. Said, okay, you need any kind of advice, support, you have questions, or you have anything which is holding you back, you have people you can reach out to, talk to, they can share their experiences and they can help you, saying that, okay, I have been in this situation and I have done this, so you do this, you'll probably be. So that that is something which has been a very important and integral part of our organization, is that we have and in the last, I would say in the last 3 years, we have of course grown much faster than we grew in the last 10 years. So that's why I see, when I look at it from the perspective, the next 3 years, I think we are going to grow faster than the last 3 years that we have been in.
How does one build or join a network like you mentioned, where there's someone that you can call for anything that you need?
I think that concept of being in a business network, which was obviously there, I mean, like, we have a lot of these
I'm not talking about formal or anything, just a list of contacts which are all connected with each other. They all know, okay, if you need this, you go to this person. If you need that, you go to that person. Maybe that.
I think it's just the fact that once you start knowing people, you start creating relationships, you start bonding with a certain type of people that you want to hang around with, or be known as, this is my circle. That's what creates this environment for you. And then trust becomes a very important factor, right? Trust takes time. Trust is not something which is a one night thing. Once you have built that trust with people, you don't really have to strive hard or put that much of effort. Then this relationship, this bonding, this ecosystem, this support, it becomes effortless. It's like you do not have to really think too much of saying, okay, I can call this guy and can I ask him this question? I mean, like, he's my friend, what would he think that I am asking him this question? So when you have come at that level of trust, you don't think from that perspective. And that change I have seen happening in the business community, because as I started off with saying that, okay, everyone was first secretive about your business, or you would want to hold your business very close to your heart. Now is the fact that people realize that, hey, listen, what I have done in the last 10 years, there are people who have done it in a much lesser period of time. And if they are willing to share their expertise with me or their experience with me, why should I shy away? Why should I not ask them a question saying that, hey, listen, I am here and I want to go here. Is there something you can tell me? Or advice, or share your experience? And they are willing to do it because people have realized that collaboration is the key. If you are able to collaborate, I mean, like, it's like, if I want to open offices in 10 cities across India today, I know there is a capital expenditure which is going to be required. But if I can collaborate with 10 partners across 10 cities, I could just do it in the next, a month or so, and I can say, okay, I'm present in so many cities. And that's how we also work with a lot of partners across the country, wherein we do last mile service delivery for our clients through our partner ecosystem.
That's why they say, like, success is, exponential. The first 10 years, you're just stuck building a network, and then, as you said, as you mature, you just have a network who can help you out with stuff.
And then there is, of course, the new age of business, right, which we have seen, that wherein people are able to, the startups are able to build companies like this, $1 billion company, in as less as 8 months, 10 months, 12 months, right? So that confidence in the ability of talent in this country has really evolved, and I think that's what is getting noticed by across the world.
Yeah, all this isn't gonna come without setbacks though. So one question that you didn't talk about in your other interview, you had mentioned कि तुम्हारे company के साथ कुछ तो fraud हुआ था. Would you mind talking about that?
Well, I think I have always looked at that. Yes, there was a fraud which happened, and at that point of time, I was faced with a situation wherein there were obviously two choices. One is saying that यार मेरे साथ में fraud हो गया है, अब मुझे जिसको पैसा देना है बोला यार मेरे पास भी नहीं है देने के लिए, and you lose credibility, you lose that business standing in the market, because the next time you go to the market and say, okay, I want this material, people will say, okay, show me the money. And so I had to dip into my family, I had to borrow money. We made sure that our lenders got their money, and our legal system I'm still kind of banking upon. We're still fighting that case.
Okay.
But what I really learned from that particular incident, and which has helped us in the period henceforth, is if I had not made that choice, which today when I look back came out to be the right choice to make, saying that okay, the ecosystem looks at you from the perspective of okay, you fell down, but did you stay down, or did you give that effort and you came back up, or you stood up? And while standing up, you took the help of people who gave you their hand or their shoulder, and then you were able to stand up and look back and say, okay, I did that effort to stand up. So it was, of course, a large sum of money at that point of time when I look at it from the perspective, but it really helped shape us as an organization in terms of what our credibility, our standing in the market is. And today when we are executing orders worth multiple of crores of rupees, we don't get anyone in the market saying that okay, I can't really take that big a risk on you because I don't know whether you will be able to repay me back. That confidence of our business community on our organization is very, very high. So that's something which I got out from that particular incident. And I think every organization goes through these kind of incidents, and it's the way they look at it and face it and come out of it.
When this kind of a incident happens, who did you blame at that point? Did you blame the fraudster? How did you navigate that situation? Who do you blame to this day?
The first blame was on me, because obviously at that point of time, taking a financial risk on somebody else who probably we did not do proper due diligence of, and we took that financial risk on just the words of that person or that organization. So it was a mistake in hindsight, but as I said, you learn from that mistake and you say, okay, have I committed that mistake again? No.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Never happens.
No, it's not that it never happens, but I think it gave a few lessons to us in terms of financial prudence, in terms of due diligence, in terms of looking at the opportunity, because the opportunity is always going to be exciting, right? Any opportunity comes to you, it's always, oh wow man, this is great, it looks great, I can make this much of money in this opportunity. But then you have to look at the opportunity from both the perspectives of success and things not going in the success direction. So when you start looking at it from the other direction, that's when you start analyzing things from the perspective saying, hold on, let's do a checklist. Is this okay? If yes, then we will look at it, or then we will go in that direction. If not, give it a miss.
Got it. What's next for your company? As in, I've already asked you this question. What I really want to ask you is,
You only have serious questions to ask, or you have? I mean, like,
Okay,
I think this whole conversation is going in a very serious direction all the time. But
I'm
no, I'm just
no,
kidding.
no, that's good feedback. I have to make it more. I'm very interested in serious stuff, but I
Yeah.
understand people are not. So I have to learn how to make stuff interesting.
Yes, I have.
Okay, let's say you're 30. You look like you're 30 years old.
Wow, I am impressed. Then you can continue.
Yeah, this is the funny part I put. Okay, let's say you're 30 years old. Like, you're very old now. You wanna chill. You wanna retire. Is that something in your mind, or do you wanna continue working hard? Like, what keeps you driving till this day? Why do you have to work even to this day when you have, especially the finances is sorted maybe? Like, why work then?
I mean, like, tell me, do you ever come across really somebody who's been into business or being an entrepreneur saying that I'm retired? Even if they say that they are not actively working, are they really retired? Probably not. I mean, like, they're constantly doing something. Okay, it may not be thinking from the operational perspective or making money perspective, but they are doing something. Maybe for them, giving back to the society is one way of looking at things, but you're still doing something. You're not retired. Okay, or playing golf, or following your bucket list and saying, okay, I'm going to do this. It's not retirement, right? The way we look at the concept of retirement has actually to be relooked at. At every stage of life, somebody has an experience which is plus 1 day more than the other person, or plus 1 year, or plus 1 decade, or plus one life. And if you have gone through that journey, you will have something that can be helpful to somebody else, if not to you. I mean, like, so are we a $1 billion business? No. But has there been something which has happened in my business or in my life which can help somebody else if I share, or if I talk about it, or if I write about it? Yes, of course. So everyone has that sort of a story to tell.
Yeah, like it's like.
And so the word retirement, you can say, okay, you have become financially free, or you do not have to worry about your daily bread, or your the lifestyle that you are used to not going down, or not having that sort of a stress period. But still, there is always something that you would want to do better. There is always some desire that you would want to fulfill, or something as an ambition. So, like, one of my very dear friend, he worked in the corporate life for 27 years, and eventually one fine day, I mean, like, when we were just having a very casual conversation, and we asked him, okay, what is it that you really want to do next? I mean, like, you've done so much in your life. And he said, I have never thought about what if I was not in this corporate life, if I was actually an entrepreneur. And we actually made sure that he came out of that. He became an entrepreneur, and today he is on his way of, running his business. And so, if he wanted to retire, he's got enough for at least the next 2 or 3 generations. But he still had that something left in him saying that, okay, I have not tried my hands at entrepreneurship. I have made money, but I have made money for somebody else. I have built a $1 billion business, but it has been for somebody else, where I was heading the ship and all. So he's now an entrepreneur. At the age wherein somebody can say, okay, you can retire, man. You've got enough money you've got a great lifestyle happening. And so there is always something else. I mean, like, if somebody comes to that point wherein they become financially independent, they will always find something which they want to pursue. And that is what, again, a lot of the people in my life have been an influence on what I am or what I say. And another dear friend of mine said, the only way to look at life is from the perspective is that if you're not growing, or the day you say, okay, I've grown enough, I don't want to grow further, you start the process of decay. Not financial decay perhaps, but it could be mental decay.
It's
तो
either
बोलते हैं
you're
ना
getting
कि
better or getting worse. There's no
या
stationary.
हिंदी में कहावत है ना, खाली दिमाग शैतान का घर. तो अगर आपका दिमाग खाली आपने कर दिया कि अब मुझे कुछ नहीं करना है, तो वो आपकी शैतानी कहीं ना कहीं निकलना शुरू हो जाएगी. यू विल स्टार्ट बिकमिंग प्रोबेबली अ पेन ऑन योर फैमिली, सेइंग दैट पूरे दिन घर पे बैठा रहता है, किट कर रहा है, समथिंग और द अदर. अच्छा ये ऐसा नहीं है, ये ऐसा नहीं है, राइट? और यू कैन लूज दैट position in your friend circle or in your business circle or in your network, where at one point of time you were considered as somebody who was experienced, who was influential. Now suddenly people start looking at, यार ये बंदा तो अभी है ना comfort zone में आ गया है. So you can get sidelined from that perspective. So and in today's environment, when one chat GPT comes in and disrupts the whole market in a matter of months, and you find the Googles of the world scrambling, you know that you have to keep on learning, you have to keep on unlearning, and you have to keep on relearning. This is a quote by Alvin Toffler, and it's been one of my favorite quotes. It's always there on my desk.
Okay. Apart from your work, like how do you like photography as well? How do you, what kind of time do you allocate towards it? And was it something you wanted to do a career in but couldn't get to, or did you just gradually develop an interest in it?
If you ask me if I am able to allocate the amount of time I would wish to, the answer is no.
Okay.
And if you ask me about, particularly about photography, for instance, my interest, it's been since long, but I could only develop on it in a proper manner after about the mid 2000. And when I came across, so I did a course in learning photography here by one of the trainers, and met a bunch of people. I went on to found the first photography club of Ahmedabad, which was actually called the Photography Club of Ahmedabad, the PCA. It was formed on the same day as Facebook was born, 4th February 2004. That was the day Facebook was founded, launched by Mark Zuckerberg. And then I went to co-create another organization called F-Stop with two of my very dear friends and co-founders, wherein our whole thought process was to help people learn photography or understand photography or learn from the masters. So we were instrumental in getting a lot of the industry masters and experts in every genre of photography: street, fashion, film, wildlife, product, industrial, wedding, to come and do workshops with our members and our community. And that went on to, that has been recognized as a pretty big community. In fact, when COVID hit and every one of us were at our home, we, like the three of us, we were just chatting one day and saying that, everyone is at home. What has each one been doing in our photographic journey? Let's just talk about it. And so we got a couple of our friends who are industry stalwarts in photography in their genre, and we said, hey, why don't we just connect on Zoom and let's just talk about your journey, or let's share. And we started off that with one afternoon It was a session that we did with one of our photography friends in Bombay. That became a series over the next few days. We went on to do 43 sessions. So 43 days, every afternoon from 2 to 5 p.m. We were all on Zoom, starting off with about 20-25 of us, went on to become about 600 people on one Zoom call one fine day. And we listened to the masters, we listened to their stories, we listened to what their experience was in photography. And we have had, and that's an archive that we have on YouTube, we have had literally people who have cried while telling their story. They have bared their heart out in terms of somebody who we can say, oh man, this guy is a big name in his genre in photography. But at one point of time, he said he was on the verge of, a mental breakdown, and how somebody came in his life, a guru, he calls him, picked him up, and he went on to become one of India's leading. So my love for photography has not just been from the perspective of what I have been shooting, or of course I do shooting. I love shooting birds, and I'm recently doing my own personal project wherein on my Instagram I am doing a series of 100 black and white photographs of my own, what I have shot in travel and in my life. And it's that passion for photography for me, which is not my career, it's not my profession, it's not what gives me my bread and butter, but it's the sheer love for that art form that has helped me to create a community. It has helped me to have a great group of friends of photographers across the country and a few outside also.
That's very interesting. Like but how can someone else find a passion like this, like you did?
A very interesting podcast I heard from Vishen of Mind Valley, and he had Naveen Jain of Biome talking about it, and Vishen asked him about passion. And I really like what Naveen Jain said. He said, you know what, passion is for losers. If you really want to do something about whatever, whether it's your business life or whether it's your hobby or interest, or it's something that you want to do which you feel that can make an impact, it has to be obsession. So and the way he says it, that passion is for losers. So a lot of talk, of course, is about finding your passion,
Yeah.
following your passion, but
It's a hoax.
no, it's not a hoax. You say that you have a passion. To get into that passionate mode or to do something passionate, you will have to be obsessive. You will have to be obsessed about it. You'll have to bring in that obsession of doing it. Then and only then, one fine day, you will be able to say, okay, I have been able to follow my passion. So, yeah, I think I really like what he said, and it's a good perspective for everyone to have today. When there is so much of distraction, everyone every single morning on their Instagram feed is getting somebody talking to them saying that I can help you make $100, I can make you help $1,000, I can make you help $1 million in such and such. So it's an overload of creativity and an overload of ideas and people trying to help you and offer you courses and offer you content and experiences and all. But when you want to do something, even if it is running a small company or doing a small business or doing a startup or doing a large innovative project, you really have to back up your passion with obsession and make obsession your front foot. That's when passion will follow.
Yeah, that's a damn good answer. I'll drill down in this topic for one last question. How do you get that obsession? If passion is not the answer and obsession is, how do you get obsessed?
I think you can get obsessed, or you can get that sense of obsession when you have belief. When you have belief in something, maybe maybe it's a belief in your ability to write 1,000,000 lines of code. Maybe it's your belief in being able to coach 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000 people on how to improve their lives. Maybe it's your belief in being able to lead a group of co-founders and say we can create this business and make an impact. The belief, when it becomes strong to the point wherein you do not give a damn about structures and obstacles and constructs that have been always thrown in your face or being shown to you or being taught to you, like we have grown up in our school and college life. When that belief becomes very, very strong, obsession comes in. And that obsession to then make that belief true, to make that belief a reality, is what can drive someone to come to that point saying that, okay, I'm so obsessed with this thought, with this idea, with this plan of mine that I don't care if I don't want to see myself thinking about whether I'm going to succeed or whether I'm going to fail, but I'm going to try it out, and I'm going to try it out with passion enough to make sure that I can come out of it satisfactorily. If it's been a success, it will be for everyone. If it's been a failure, it will be a learning for me.
Damn, you just gave me goosebumps, man, with that answer. On that high note, let's end it.
Sure.
I've taken enough of your time.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I hope the listeners will take one or two bits out of this conversation. Wouldn't want to call it an interview because I think it's been a conversation, and I've really enjoyed talking to you. Of course, you are much younger than me, but I'm glad that
you're just 30 years old, I think.
But whatever you're doing, I like the fact that you are trying to do it not just for yourself. You're wanting to do for a wider mass. You're wanting to do it for a lot of people who may have a lot of distraction in their life right now, because they may all be trying to find an answer. They may all be trying to find a reason or a purpose, right? And if by way of following your series of talking to people who have been through their lives, who have a story to tell, who have done something, and if they are able to find even one thing, I think you will make an impact that is going to be much, much bigger than you currently can think about it. And so I'm happy. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.